Planet's darkening oceans pose threat to marine life, scientists say. Band of water where marine life can survive has reduced in more than a fifth of global ocean between 2003 and 2022. Great swathes of the planet's oceans have become darker in the past 2 decades, according to researchers who fear the trend will have a severe impact on marine life around the world. Satellite data and numerical modeling revealed that more than a fifth of the global ocean darkened between 2003 and 2022, reducing the band of water that life reliant on sunlight and moonlight can thrive in. The effect is evident across 75 msq/km, 30 msq miles, of ocean, equivalent to the land area of Europe, Africa, China, and North America combined, and disturbs the upper layer of water where 90% of marine species live. Dr. Thomas Davies, a marine conservationist at the University of Plymouth, said the findings were a genuine cause for concern, with potentially severe implications for marine ecosystems, global fisheries, and the critical turnover of carbon and nutrients in the oceans. Most marine life thrives in the photic zones of the world's oceans, the surface layers that allow sufficient light through for organisms to exploit. While sunlight can reach a kilometer beneath the waves, in practice there is little below 200 meters. This upper band of water is where microscopic plant-like organisms called phytoplankton photosynthesis. The organisms underpin virtually all marine food webs and generate nearly half the planet's oxygen. Many fish, marine mammals, and other creatures hunt, feed and reproduce in the warmer waters of the photic zones where food is most abundant. Davies and his colleagues drew on satellite data and an algorithm used to measure light in sea water to calculate the depths of photic zones around the world. Darkening affected 21% of the global ocean in the 20 years to 2022. In 9% of the ocean, this led to photic zones being 50 meters shallower, while in 2.6% of the ocean, the zones were 100 meters shallower. Details of this study appear in Global Change Biology. The oceans darken when light finds it harder to penetrate the water. It is often seen along coastlines where upwellings of cold, nutrient-rich water rise to the surface, and where rainfall sweeps nutrients and sediments from the land into the water. The drivers for darkening far offshore are less clear, but global heating and changes in ocean currents are thought to be involved. The areas where there are major changes in ocean circulation, or ocean warming driven by climate change, seem to be darkening, such as the Southern Ocean and up through the Gulf Stream past Greenland, Davies said. Despite an overall darkening, about 10% of the ocean, or 37 million square kilometers, became lighter over the past 20 years, the study found. Off the west coast of Ireland, for example, a very large area of ocean has brightened, but further out it has darkened. Marine organisms use light for a whole variety of purposes. They use it for hunting, for mating, for timing reproductive events. They use it for basically every single part of their biology, said Davies. With ocean darkening, they have to move up the water column, and there is less space, they're all being squished up towards the surface. Professor Oliver Zielinski, the director of the Leibniz Institute for Baltic Sea Research in Germany, said the darkening of vast ocean areas was a worrying trend. Such changes can disrupt marine food webs, alter species distributions, and weaken the ocean's capacity to support biodiversity and regulate climate, he said. Coastal seas, being closest to human activity, are particularly vulnerable, and their resilience is crucial for both ecological health and human well-being. Why you can rely on The Guardian not to bow to Trump, or anyone. I hope you appreciated this article. Before you move on, I wanted to ask whether you could support The Guardian's journalism as we face the unprecedented challenges of covering this administration. As Trump himself observed, the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. He's not entirely wrong. Already, several large corporate-owned news organizations have settled multimillion-dollar lawsuits with the president in order to protect their business interests. Meanwhile, billionaires have intervened editorially in the news outlets they own to limit potentially unfavorable coverage of the president. The Guardian is different. We have no interest in being Donald Trump's, or any politician's, friend. Our allegiance as independent journalists is not to those in power but to the public. Whatever happens in the coming months and years, you can rely on the Guardian never to bow down to power, nor back down from truth. How are we able to stand firm in the face of intimidation and threats? As journalists say, follow the money. The Guardian has neither a self-interested billionaire owner nor profit-seeking corporate henchmen pressuring us to appease the rich and powerful. We are funded by our readers and owned by the Scott Trust, whose only financial obligation is to preserve our journalistic mission in perpetuity. What's more, in a time of rising, democracy-threatening misinformation, we make our fiercely independent journalism free to all, with no paywall, so that everyone in the U.S. can have access to responsible, fact-based news. With the administration already cracking down on free speech, banning reporters from the Oval Office, and the president and his allies pursuing lawsuits against news outlets whose stories they don't like, it has never been more urgent, or more perilous, to pursue fair, accurate reporting. The administration already cracking down on free speech, banning reporters from the Oval Office, and the president and his allies pursuing lawsuits against news outlets whose stories they don't like, it has never been more urgent, or more perilous, to pursue fair, accurate reporting. Can you support The Guardian today? We value whatever you can spare, but a